All right, how's it going out there? How's everybody doing? Boy, it's hot here. It's hot in Atlanta. I am sweating. Our air conditioning broke a couple days ago, so it's been a bit hot here at the house. I hope everybody's doing well. Today we're going to talk about how to practice arpeggios. We're going to learn your major triads and your minor triads. Now, I have a PDF that I attached for all my Patreon, my patrons, and otherwise I'll go through all the fingerings for my YouTubers. And what is arpeggios? What are arpeggios? Well, they're basically chord tones and chord shapes played as single notes. Now, what do arpeggios do? First off, arpeggios help you to organize your fretboard because you have a root inversion arpeggio that starts from the actual root. You have first inversion arpeggio that starts from the third, and then you have a second inversion that starts from the fifth. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. What is a chord? What's the formula for a triad chord? It's a 1-3-5. Okay, now what's the difference between a 1-3-5 for a major chord versus a minor chord? And we're talking about triads here, obviously. But what is the difference between a major and a minor chord? The formula is a 1-3-5. Well, for a major triad, there are 2 whole steps between the 1 and the 3. For a minor triad, there's 1.5 steps between the 1 and the 3. We're going to go through both the major and minor forms today. So, and there's 3 forms for the major and 3 forms for the minor. They call them inversions. Okay. Like I said, one starts from the root, one starts from the third, one starts from the fifth. And this really helps you map out the chord tones. Now, why is that important? Now, your chord tones are used as target notes when you're soloing. That happens later on. The first thing that that the arpeggios really help with are technique. You know, warming up with your arpeggios. You want to warm up with your scales and arpeggios. The arpeggios affect your fingers a little bit differently. They put at least with me, it put a lot more spring in my fingers, made them stand up a little more tall. You know, you see the metal guys do these big sweep picks. They're playing arpeggios most of the time, if not all the time. I'm not a big sweep picker. I definitely rake a lot, and usually when I'm raking, it's an arpeggio, you know, like that, or that's another one that I do a lot. So even beyond it, before you get to the point where you're starting to use these target notes in your soloing, it's helping your fingers strengthen your fingers. You get more control, and it also adds speed to your playing. You will, once you start to get these arpeggios down, you will want to practice with a metronome. That's real important also. But they really is another step in helping to organize the fretboard. Now, hey, William, you haven't missed much. It's at the very beginning. How's it going? I needed to do a little later live today. It's a crazy day. Lot going on. But yeah, so even before we get to the actual like musical art of the arpeggio using it in solos, it's really just helping you to build a lot of technique, which is great. So you haven't missed anything yet, William. So let's go ahead and go through the root version or root inversion arpeggio. The C major triad arpeggio is going to be the first one. And we're mapping these out according to the sixth string. So the root inversion, these are all going to be C major triads and C minor triads, okay? And as you can see on the PDF, there's 3 major triads, 3 minor triads. All right. So the first one starts on the C. What are the notes for C major? They're C, E, and G. Okay. So within this, if you start with the C on the 8th fret, you're really mapping out the notes that kind of are around this C major bar chord right here. Hey David, how's it going? Boy, it's hot here. I hope you're doing well. But so basically, this first triad's based around this bar chord. Now, you don't have to know the bar chord to play the triad, but it kind of helps you to map it out. So this is the root inversion C major triad. So the root is C. Okay, so the first one starts on C. Yeah, I know it's hot out there. Good Lord, it's hot everywhere. All right, so let me go through the fingering for the C major triad arpeggio. Let me play it first for the root inversion. All right, so basically we're going through and hitting C, E, G, C, E, G, C, E. So it stops on the E, so it's 2.5 times going through that cycle. All right, so after I go through all the inversions for each, I'll play a little bit on my keyboard. I'll get a chord going and kind of show you what the next step is, you know, taking some licks, resolving into the chord tones. This is another way to learn your chord tones. I did the video maybe last week on the pentatonic extension, the C major pentatonic extension, and did 3-note runs with the chord tones. The third note of each run was a chord tone. It's the same chord tone, C, E, and G. So this is another way to map everything out. Now, let me play that one more time, and then I'll go through the fingering. Now, if you're not used to alternate picking, just pick all down for now. But this will start to help you to get a lot more control over your picking and your playing, build technique, and then from there, organization of the chord tones. All right, so starting with the C, you're going to play that with your first finger, and that's 8th fret, 6th string. Next, you've got your pinky on the 12th fret, that's the E. Next, you have your second finger on the G, 10th fret, 5th string. After that, you've got the C on the 4th string at the 10th fret with your third finger. Okay, so you've got, so you're kind of snaking down the fretboard. Next, we have the E. Hit that with your second finger. That's 9th fret, 3rd string. Next, we have first finger, 8th fret, 2nd string. That's the G. Then roll your finger to the 8th fret, 1st string. That's the C. Then finally, pinky on the E, 12th fret, 1st string. So you've got just like that. All right, not so hard, but you definitely want to get that fingering correct on there. Right, so you can see that little half F shape in there, which is part of the big bar chord there. Right, a lot of clues in these arpeggios. You may not see it yet, but after you practice it for a while, you know, you will start to see it in the more soloing that you do. Now, these also they are connected with the pentatonic scales and the major scales, right? There's this major scale right here at the 8th fret. Right, so that lays right over that scale. All right, so that's the root inversion. Like I said, that's from the root, from the C or whatever chord you're playing over. And once again, this is the C major shape. So you can use this for any root major triad arpeggio shape. All right, so let's do the second one, which is first inversion, C major triad arpeggio first inversion, which starts at the 12th fret. So this is, you start to see why it gives you some organization, you know, because basically this covers 3/4, if not more, of the fretboard. Okay, and it'll help you memorize the notes also in those specific spots. So there's a lot of great things about these arpeggios. So the actual arpeggio goes. This is the first inversion. It starts on the 3rd. Okay, so it starts on the E. Now this inversion has 2 chord shapes in it. The root inversion has the E major shape in it, and then it has that half F shape in it. Now, the first inversion has the D shape in it, which that is actually a D-shaped C chord. And then it also has the C shape in there. Okay, so we do see some chord shapes within these also. So once again, let me go through the shape of this one. So your first finger starts on the E, 12th fret, 6th string. Your pinky on the 15th fret, 6th string, and that's the G. Then we roll the pinky to the 5th string, 15th fret, for the C. Then our third finger is on the 14th fret, 4th string, that's the E. Then your first finger is on the 12th fret, 3rd string, that's the G. Then your second finger, 13th fret, 2nd string, that's the C again. First finger, 12th fret, 1st string, that is the E. Pinky, 15th fret, first string, that is the G. You might recognize these sounds. Now we definitely hear that in things. I mean, even that reminds me part of the Star Spangled Banner that Hendrix played, or Reveille. They use triads for all that stuff. So very cool. So once again, first inversion starts on the E, on the third. Okay, let's go to second inversion. That's going to start on the fifth. We'll go down to the third fret, sixth string. Okay, this one is based around this C bar chord. Right there. Okay, this one goes. And once again, you don't need to know these bar chords yet. If you don't have your bar chords down yet, it doesn't matter. You can go ahead and start practicing these because you're playing single notes. All right, let's go through the fingering. So our first finger starts on the third fret, sixth string. That's the G. This is the second inversion. Okay. Then you roll down to the same fret on the fifth string for the C. Then your pinky hits the E on the seventh fret, fifth string. Second finger on the G, fifth fret, fourth string. Third finger on the C, which is fifth fret, third string. Then third fret, second string on the E there, fifth fret also, which makes sense because you have that from the bar chord. All right, so that was third finger. Now, first finger on the G on the first string, third fret. So you get. Now going back up with this one, I go first finger, third finger, second finger, second finger. Right. So it's a little bit different going back up. On the way down, on the fourth, third, and second string, it's second finger, third, third. On the way back up, it's third, second, second. All right. So there's your three inversions for your, C major triad arpeggio. Now, let's go to the minor. How's everybody doing here? All right. Let's go to the minor. Now, remember what I said earlier. For a major chord, there's two whole steps between the 1 and the 3. For a minor chord, there's 1.5 steps between the 1 and the 3. So if the third for the major chord is E, the third for the minor chord is going to be E flat. Okay, so keep that in mind. Each one of these are in the same area. It's just that E is flatted for the minors. So really, we're only changing one note. So that's a little bit of good news there. All right, so let's do the minor. Here's the minor. I'll play it and then explain it. more time. All right. So let me explain the fingering here. All right. So once again, we're at the root inversion, but for the C minor triad. Still starting on C though. So once again, it's first finger, 8th fret, 6th string. Now, pinky on the 11th fret, 6th string. That's the E flat. That's your flat 3. Second finger on the 10th fret, 5th string. That's your G. That's your 5. Then you've got your root with your 3rd finger, 10th fret, 4th string. Then you've got your first finger on the E flat, which is the flat 3, 8th fret, 3rd string. Then you roll that finger down to the 2nd string, same fret, 8th fret, that's the G. Then still the same fret, but on the 1st string, that's the C. Then your pinky goes up to the E flat, which is at the 11th fret. So the trick to this one, even though your first finger's hitting all those notes there, you don't want those notes to bleed together, you know, to play a chord. You want single notes. It takes a while to be able to do that. You know, for a while, the notes might be bleeding together a little bit. All right. So remember that when you're practicing these 3 notes. Whoops. All right. Now let's do the first inversion. So that's going to start on your flat 3, which is E flat, like we talked about. Now, let me play it and then I'll explain it. There you go. All right, so first finger starts on the 11th fret, 6th string. Pinky on the 15th fret, 6th string. Then you roll your pinky down to the 5th string, 15th fret. Then your second finger goes to the 13th fret string. That's the E flat again. Then your first finger, 12th fret, 3rd string. Second finger, 13th fret, 2nd string. That's your C again. Then your first finger on the 11th fret, 1st string. That's your E flat. Then your pinky on the G at the 15th fret, 1st string. Now, what chord shape is in this one? A D minor shape. It's a C minor, but it's that D minor shaped chord that's, you know, down here. Now, let me go back to the root inversion minor. The E minor is the shape for that one. Okay. So that's your first inversion minor. All target notes for when you're soloing. If you're soloing over a C minor, those are the notes that you will resolve into for better phrasing ideas. Okay, now let's go to the second inversion, which starts on the G. So we're back down here, okay, and it's based off of this chord shape. Oh yeah, and let me just say that the root inversion is based off of this chord shape. I don't think I did that. All right. So let me play this one. Now this one has an A minor shape in it, which goes right along with this chord. All right, so let me go through the fingering for this one. First finger, 3rd fret, 6th string, then roll down to the 5th fret. 5th string, same fret. That's the C. All right, so we're starting on the G, then we have C. Then your pinky goes to the E flat, which is 6th fret, 5th string. 2nd finger, 5th fret, 4th string, that's the G. 3rd finger, 5th fret, 3rd string, that's the C. 2nd finger, 2nd string, 4th fret, that's the E flat. 1st finger, 1st string, 3rd fret, that's the G. And that's it. That's it. I almost went for the 7 there, but we're only doing triad arpeggios. All right, so these are all clues into how to solo and make more sense when you're resolving into the chord tones at the end of a lick. Now, if you don't know how to use phrasing yet or improv, don't worry. We're setting you up for that. You know, it takes a while to really understand how to do it properly. Now, I'm going to play a few licks. I'll point out the arpeggio and then the chord tones and then play a few licks around it. All right, and we'll start with that C major root, the root inversion C major triad. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to play a chord on the keyboard. Hopefully that's loud enough. So we have this arpeggio. Let me turn up my amp a little bit. All right, so one more time on that. So let's target these notes, right? That's in the arpeggio. So let me start with the first string. There's one of those triad notes right there. That's the C. There's the G. There's your E. There's your C. There's the C right there. C, E, G. All right, so you hear how everything resolves there. Now let me go up to the first inversion and I'll play a couple licks. So that one, once again, is up here at the 12th fret. Let me play the C chord again. And notice how these are all based around the A minor, and C major pentatonic scales. That's a whole nother thing right there, but they all work together. All right. So here's the C, the D-shaped C, which is in the triad arpeggio. I'll resolve into those notes. There's an arpeggio note right there. All right, there's a couple licks right there. Kind of shows you how to get around a little bit. Let's go down to the second inversion for the major right there. Now, pay special attention to these three notes, okay? Because that's where a lot of the resolution will be, because it's connected with this shape scale. All right, let me get the chord back up here, C major. Connected by scale. All right, and here's the triad arpeggio. All right, let's see what's going on here. All right. So, whoa. Let's go ahead and do the minor now. So that'll be C, E flat, G. Let me go up an octave. Adding in some extra notes. Okay, so here's your minor, your root inversion minor. There's also your C minor pentatonic. So we know the chord tones here. There's your C, E flat, G, C. All right, now let's go up to the first inversion. Okay, this one up here. First inversion, C minor. All right, let me turn this back up. Same thing here. Here's the. All right, so we've got. See how that one works. All right. Now there's some little lines there for C minor up here at the first inversion. Now let's go to the second inversion, okay? All right, let me turn this back up. There's one of your chord tones. There's another one. All right, so there's a bunch of ideas about how to start to play little licks with these triad arpeggio notes. The first thing you want to do is just practice the triad arpeggios without trying to really play these licks yet. But eventually, you'll start to see the shapes across the fretboard. Now, you should know that the chord tones for C major are C, E, and G. Memorize all those notes according to the arpeggio, and then C, E flat, G. Kind of map those out, and then I'll do some other videos where we relate these arpeggios to the pentatonic, okay? So that's basically it for today. That was a good long live right there. I'll tell you, I am sweating like crazy. It's so hot in here. But I hope everybody enjoyed this lesson. I will have an edited version of this posted on YouTube shortly. I hope everybody enjoyed this lesson. If you haven't subscribed at all, please subscribe to my channel. Definitely trying to build that. And I will be posting a lot more on playing, how to get better, how to become a better soloist on the guitar, build up your bar chords, everything. All right. Does anybody have any questions about anything before I sign off? Once again, the PDF for this is posted in my Patreon. If you're not a member of my Patreon, please join it. It's only $5 a month, and you get tabs for everything and more in-depth lessons. All right. I hope everybody has a great day. And what do we have here? Oh, hey, Mitch. Thank you. Yeah, I love this guitar. These things are great. Great tone. You know, it's funny because I'm not even that big of a John Mayer fan, even though the guy, he's a killer guitar player. But these are great guitars, no doubt. Thank you so much. All right, I got to sign off. I hope everybody has a great day, great weekend, and I will be posting more soon.